Good morning, everyone. I'm listening to the Samaritan's Mysteries documentation talking about Noah, Gilgamesh, and the Anunnaki. And you are not going to believe what I just heard. Period. It just blew my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and play just a little bit of this, and I want you to listen closely. Hopefully this comes out. It's going to blow your mind.
Inanna also built temples at prominent cultural and trade centers within the region. Unlike the Anunnaki, Enlil was not acting alone. He acted with others known as the Nephilim or Elohim in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26, where this confusing statement is made. Genesis, "Let us make a dapper in our image, in our likeness," says God. Noah, or Atrahasis, is a mythical creation story that links the same Anunnaki deities venerated in the temples of the Near East with Enlil Yahweh of the Old Testament and his brother Enki Adonai, the hidden us, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. Enki and his half-sister Ninmah produce Homo sapiens, a primitive worker in a genetic experiment. Reading texts that predate the Genesis account over 1,700 years, such as the Atrahasis, clarifies the confusion caused by the plural statement us, our, in the biblical creation account. Extensive details are given regarding the results of clinical trials involving the archetype of the human species. Enlil's half-sister, Ninhursag, or Ninmah, and his arch-rival and more scientifically inclined brother, Enki, conducted the trial in an African laboratory. Research of knowledge required to discuss a topic such as genetic engineering in a document nearly 5,000 years old, which contains a much more detailed account of man's creation, one that makes much more sense in terms of technical and historical aspects, as opposed to the accurate description in the Bible, which is often complimentary. Additionally, similar documents shed light on King Upnapishtim of Shuruppak, the biblical Noah, 600 years old when the world was flooded. Different names also identified many deities which appeared to span long periods. Akkadians named the excellent god Sin, after whom the Sinai Peninsula was named Nannar, the moon god, son of Enlil, after various Sumerian cities, including Ur and Haran. Inanna, his sister, wore a crescent moon symbol and had symbols throughout Mesopotamia. She was known to the Akkadians as Ishtar. Herodotus was a Greek historian from Ionia who lived in the 5th century BCE. It is still used today by Egyptologists to classify Egyptian civilization into dynasties. Egyptian priest historian Manetho seems to have agreed with Herodotus's division of Egypt's rulership into 3 dynasties, except that he included an additional era ruled by the gods alone instead of 3. According to Manetho, the first dynasty of Egyptian gods ruled for 12,300 years. Once again, we find astonishingly long reigns of the first Egyptian dynasty rulers. The Sumerian texts reveal Anu assigned the regions of Egypt and Africa to Enki, a high-ranking deity from Eridu, by 3860 BCE. It just so happens that the Jewish astrological calendar, whose Anunnaki origins are in the Sumerian city of Nippur, began counting in 3760 BCE. Perhaps you would think it is coincidental, but it is not, according to ancient
Are you a YouTube content creator? Stop wasting hours creating YouTube video scripts for your next video.
to ancient cuneiform texts. According to Manetho, the second Egyptian dynastic period was ruled by 12 divine rulers for 1,570 years. Thoth, also a son of Enki, was the first god of the second dynasty. Egypt was ruled for 3,650 years by 30 demigods. Scholars believe the Pharaonic dynasty began around 3,100 BC and lasted 350 years. It had its capital in Memphis, or Men-Nefer in Greek. Where did these deities come from? The Sumerian kings list further complicates clues to the mystery. According to the records, some of the first kings of Sumer ruled for up to 28,800 years. That is almost unimaginable. The deities worshipped in Mesopotamian temples taught all aspects of civilization to the Sumerians by the deities worshipped in Mesopotamian temples. Besides creating the zodiac, Sumerian deities knew the Earth's equinox orbital plane, tilt axis, and spherical shape. During the Middle Ages, Europe possessed less detailed knowledge than Sumer did. Despite this, Sumer and his surrounding region produced many of the first inventions and advanced achievements of civilizations, including mathematics, meteorology, and law codes. Various traditions describe sin, including those associated with Assyria and the crescent moon symbol found on flags and mosques associated with Islam. The Sumerian goddess Inanna was also known as Hathor in Egypt, and her name is well known and memorialized in many temples, including the Temple of Hathor, found in the wilderness of the deity Nannar-Sin. Mesopotamian people recognized Nannar-Sin as the moon god, and the Egyptian people had Inanna, also known as Hathor. The authors readily inscribed in baked clay the genealogy accounts of Nannar-Sin as the son of Enlil in the Sumerian records, and he was known as the moon god to the people of the ancient Middle East. History shows that Nannar-Sin had a large following in his cult centers, spread throughout southern Iraq to Syria, Turkey, and Iran. What is the meaning of Nannar-Sin? Nannar-Sin might be the deity that Muhammad encountered in the wilderness, a sacred center for the religion of Islam. The Kaaba stone in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, was initially dedicated to the moon god called Allah there. The mere act of replacing one proper noun results in replacing another, especially with a deity's name. A new epithet replaces the old one. Comparisons between the Sumerian storm god Enlil in Lamentations of Ur and the god of vengeance in the Old Testament prove this. Being witnesses to the Sumerian deity Enlil, whose origins were mysterious, but whose daily existence had been recorded and witnessed by the biblical patriarch Abraham and people of the city of Ur, become the Anunnaki city one of the mountain El Shaddai. In the end, Jehovah became a fantastic discovery to the people of Israel that connected the gods of Sumeria with at least one of the gods of the Old Testament. Better-known gods were worshipped elsewhere in the region, like Enki, Aka Aharu Mazda, as he was known as the god of light and wisdom. Allah replaced Ahura Mazda, aka Nannar-Sin, when Arab conquerors overthrew the Persians in 633 BCE, headquartered at their spectacular capital at Persepolis. In 644 BCE, the Arabs invaded and caused the Zoroastrian faith to decline. Egyptian and Sumerian cultures frequently subsumed names and epithets to solidify power and authority. Several names were merged into a single name, tailor-made to fit the worshipping subject's culture and language. The purpose was probably to facilitate referring to rivals and aggregating data during convenient times. Considering that what one culture terms a deity, another culture terms another name, the idea of an Anunnaki myth takes on more significance, especially if the name is traceable across cultures. Likewise, the authority of political and religious beliefs in a society is determined by the ruling forces that select the purveyor of truth in history. According to the ruling party or superpower, religious truth originates from subordinated cultures, classified as pagan or occult. The winner's beliefs and what others believe is politely referred to as myths rather than as the politically incorrect label of the lie. The armies of Earth's generals have gathered once again in the Middle East, be it truth or fiction, dogma or doctrine. In the Anunnaki Gods trilogy by Zecharia Sitchin, Enlil and Enki and their offspring are described as having battled. Could this explain the current conflicts involving Iran, Iraq, Syria and Israel? Will Enki's offspring disturb the destructive plan of his arch-rival Enlil, Zeus to the Greeks, and his warmonger son, Ninurta, Apollo to the Greeks? Jesus is rejected as the Messiah because he was the offspring of Enki, Jehovah's rival. This is the
All right, did you just hear that? Did you just hear that? I am blown away, period. All right, guys, I'm going to post the whole video where you can listen to it yourself, period. Do know that these are very old clay tablets that people are translating, period. I'm not making it up. I'm not telling you what to believe. All I am telling you is that everything is an effing lie. Everything. Everything that you think you know, you don't know. I'm still learning. Okay, this one was new for me. But this goes with people who have been saying for a very long time that Jesus was an alien. Okay, I'm not taking away the power of Jesus. I'm not taking away Jesus' love. I'm not taking away what Jesus did for us. I'm not. Jesus was a very pure, loving, kind soul on this planet. All right, so don't forget that. That's nobody is denying what he did for us. So let me get off here so I can finish scanning. I'm having a hard time reaching the stickers and trying to record. So I'll post the other video, like I said, in a few minutes. Just listen to this and be open-minded, guys. Be open-minded.